Start the recording, please. There we go. Jeez. Oh, technology. Alright, you ready to start this thing?
Yep.
Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of The Binding of Moonpir Boston Rebirth. Almost said that video game podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me in our adventures in the basement, as always, is my good friend Moonpir.
Yay, I'm in the basement.
Let's just before we cry over the dailies this week, let's check in with your individual hopeful accomplishments this week.
Yep. This week is the week I need to get a tattoo. Mm-hmm. Because I survived greed mode with Blue Baby.
Yes, sweet victory. What was this?
Oh.
How did this run go?
It went surprisingly well. I didn't think I was actually going to be able to make it until like the last 2 floors.
Ooh.
And then I realized I was putting out huge DPS. Didn't have a lot of health, but my DPS was huge.
Yeah.
And then I was really lucky and got the Halo of Flies.
Yeah.
The projectile protection thing, which basically kills all of the damage that greed can inflict on you, really, minus him like bumping into you.
Yeah.
So
that's huge for Blue Baby.
Yes, that saved my bacon. It basically meant that I could do the last two floors without losing any health.
Nice.
And then when I got up to Ultra Greed, like his tears don't hurt me. The things he spits out, their tears don't hurt me.
Right.
All I really have to worry about is the explosives when he rolls his eyes and gets the explosives, and when he rolls his eyes and gets the keys.
Yeah.
So I then literally just dodged as quick as I could. I was like an anime, just going dodging everything and just pumping as many. Like I wasn't dodging his projectiles because I didn't need to.
Right.
But I was dodging all of the actual
bomb
physical
coins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodging all of that, I eventually took him down. Don't get me wrong, I only had 7 coins to put into the thing, but I didn't care at that point.
But the
it was
post-it note is filled.
Yes, it was literally just a case of I've got that symbol on his post-it note. I don't care about the donation machine right now.
What were some of the items you picked up that made you put out such a huge amount of DPS on that run? Do you remember?
Well, to be honest, it was a little bit of everything. Like I got Cricket's Head, I got the Chemical Peel. Like it just seemed like room after room. Like my first 2 floors or 3 floors was just speed of shots and range, and I was like, that's good, but it's not good enough.
Yeah.
So I spent like 3 floors getting like everything that increases your range, and then the next 2 floors I think was just pure damage except for the Halo of Flies.
Mm.
So I was picking up what I think you consider and I consider now to be pretty good damaging items, because I was picking up like say Cricket's Head, which if I'm right is like that's a solid +1, isn't it?
Well, Cricket's Head is I just had to look it up because I didn't remember how much it actually increased. It only increases by 0.5, but what it does is it's a 50% damage multiplier. So the larger your damage gets, the more Cricket's Head multiplies it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a little ridiculous then, because I was picking up like Chemical Peel, and there was a couple of other things I picked up, like the mushroom that does tears and damage and health.
Magic Mush?
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah. Chemical Peel does +2 damage for tears fired from Isaac's left eye. I didn't realize that was that high.
That's really good, especially for the left eye.
Yeah.
Very not helpful with Kane in the slightest.
Right.
I didn't even realize that.
That's my favorite thing with Kane. Whenever you get Are You a Wizard or Dunce Cap with Kane, it just still shoots straight. Like, it's really not a lot going on there.
But yeah, I mean, I was so pleased about that, because I checked my counter beforehand. I was at like -98.
Yeah.
I was doing everything I could to not go to 100.
Yeah.
I didn't want that on my record. So I was at that point. Go ahead.
I'm happy that you beat it, but I'm also kind of disappointed that you didn't have a more flashy run. You know, you always want to hear that, like, you got Brimstone and Mom's Knife, and you got that synergy, and like you just walked through the rest of the run, or you had like Unicorn Stump and like 5 orbitals, and you were just sort of, cooking right through it. And it's sort of like, I picked up a lot of really good items. It's like, well,
yeah, it was one of those runs where it wasn't flashy, it was just effective because
just
it was
getting the job done.
Yeah, exactly. It was. I picked up all the basic items, like what seems to be early game items, like items you get off the get-go. I picked up all of them that could possibly help me, just happened to roll right. Yeah. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't great, but it worked. And I'm thankful for that fact.
Yeah. So what's your next goal here? Hard mode stuff?
My next goal after that was to beat greed mode with Lilith.
Okay.
Guess what? I beat greed mode with Lilith.
Hey, that's thankfully much easier than a Blue Baby run.
Yes, it is. And now officially, all of the characters I now have all of their greed mode stamps done.
Nice, good job.
So the 2 I haven't unlocked are the 2 I haven't done greed mode with.
Sure, yeah.
So I mean, I'm still up to. I think I meant to write it down, but I forgot. I think it is like 340 something coins for greed mode.
About a third of the way there.
Yeah, and I've only got like 417 in the standard donation modes. This, for anyone who doesn't know me, this gives you a good indication of how I play. I do the hard stuff first, and then do the easy stuff afterwards. Yeah. Even though in this case, I'm pretty sure the easy stuff would help me do the hard stuff because you get unlocks. But yeah, because of that, like I unlocked the cracked dice and a box of friends. I didn't have the box of friends.
Yeah, box of friends is interesting on some other runs. Box of Friends, I was thinking about it the other day because I was playing as Lilith. I think I just rolled a random. I needed a break from Persona 5, and I said, I'm just going to hit random on Binding of Isaac, and I got Lilith. I think Lilith is a really great character, but one of her biggest downsides is you kind of can't get rid of Box of Friends throughout your entire run because it's so fundamental to the character. So unless you get is
that the one she starts with?
Yeah. There's one trinket that's good for her, the no trinket. That makes it so that active items, your ones up in the corner, don't drop anymore in item rooms. But other than that, with Lilith, I sort of feel like you're passing up a lot of really great items because Box of Friends is so useful for you.
Well, I was also kind of an idiot on the run with her. Like, I will admit, the run I had with her was pure luck. It was literally just it was just luck is how I managed to get it.
You saw the Matrix.
Because it wasn't even that. It was more like when you see a 3-year-old playing a fighting game against a pro, and the 3-year-old beats the pro. Right. That's what I was doing.
Right.
Because if I can get them early, I try to get the blue map or Spelunker's hat really early on greed mode, because those secret rooms can be game changers, like hearts, money, chests, whatever it is. I had the Spelunker's hat. I went into one of the rooms, and at this point I think I had a bunch of stuff to increase my stats, like again just generic damage up stuff. It wasn't anything special, but it was enough to give me a decent damage output with my familiars. And I went into one of the secret rooms. I was like, that's a cracked mirror. I know what that hand mirror does. I'm sure I've had it before and regretted having it.
It's one of those things where it's like, God, is it good? Is it bad? Is it new?
I sat there and I was talking to my wife at the time as well. She just came home. So I kind of paused it. I talked to her for a little bit, and then literally I unpaused it and I just moved left and right in the room, like trying to make my mind up whether or not to pick her up, because it was literally just a mirror on a pedestal.
Yeah.
It's like, do I get it? Do I not get it? I end up picking her up. That was a huge mistake.
Yes, my reflection. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a big mistake, especially considering I also, at the time, had short-range mega tears.
Oh, no. Which is a great item, but not so much anymore. God, that's like one of the worst combos you could get.
Yep. I was very lucky, though, because the things I'd picked up so far had done it so that my familiars were doing enough damage output, and the short-range mega tears actually helped. Because you get yourself in a position where you've got them in a line, as you called it, the curtain of death.
Yeah.
And literally anything comes towards you, and it's done. Because the short range Mega Tears is just a wall of like huge bullets going down. But then I picked up my reflection, and I almost immediately regret it. I was like, okay, this is a wash.
It's one of those things where like you fire a test shot, and you're like, that's not so. Oh no, I have made a really giant mistake.
Yep, I really did.
Man.
And somehow I made it through by literally just running in circles around every enemy I could.
Just holding down the buttons.
Pretty much, exactly. I was running in circles. I was just trying to surround them with bullets going in towards them.
Yeah.
I somehow managed to do it. Like I said, it was pure luck. Yeah. I took so much damage. I was just constantly trying to find hearts. I was just, I'm getting hit. Every single time I move, I get hit by something, but the damage output on them is so good.
Yeah.
That if I can get someone inside my circle of doom, then they're done for, kind of thing. Finally did it with hair. So glad. Greed mode,
Now you just gotta... Now's the fun/grindy part. I kind of enjoyed it because I liked setting it on greed mode and just hitting the question mark and just getting a random character and sort of being like, oh, well, okay, this one's a Samson run. I haven't played Samson in a while, so I guess we're going to play as him and, dump 30 coins in there and kind of call it a day.
Oh, yeah, I mean, that's what I've enjoyed. Like, when I've played greed mode just for fun, I've done it that way, and I've actually really enjoyed doing it that way.
Yeah.
Like, just literally picking random. You deal with what you're given. Sometimes you do well, sometimes you don't. Well, who cares?
Yeah. Well, let's, we both had, let's call it a really bad week with dailies.
Yes. Well, okay, let's just get it out of the way. The past 2 weeks for me have been horrendous. Like, you've seen my scores, just atrocious.
Yeah, I think you took this week from me. I had horrible runs where I'm just like, you're making it to the end, and I'm like on the 3rd floor and dying. And I was like, what is happening? And to be fair, oftentimes it was my own greed biting me, where I'm like, yeah, sure, Guppy's collar and 2 other items from, Deal with the Devil. It's 5 hearts total, and I have 6 red hearts. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I can't believe that bit me.
That's what cost me when we actually talked about this on Twitter. I said it had some items. I got greedy and I paid the price.
Yep.
That's exactly what I did.
Yeah. Well, you see the path to power, and you're like, but if I miss these items, I'll kick myself the whole run. I just need to find a little bit more health at some point. It's like, you end up with 2 hearts, and the next pill you take is a health down pill, and you're like, am not a smart man.
Yep. I've got 1 heart. What could go wrong with taking this pill that says question marks all over it?
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully it's balls of steel. Whoops. Nope, it was bad trip. I'm in trouble.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, man.
But yeah, for the record, for the listeners, I should say, during the pre-show, the score going into today was 3-all. So it's 3 to Boston and 3 to me. Like Boston said, we rolled a reverse this week at the start, at least, where you were making my kind of mistakes.
Yeah.
I know the result of the last daily.
Okay.
Boston does not.
Yeah, this was I tapped out of this daily about 35 minutes into it. So today was a special run. You started off with Tiny Planet, which why? And it went all the way to hard mode Mega Satan. I made it 30 minutes, and that was me hitting Mom. And I was like, I really I don't have the time to do this today while I'm trying to juggle a baby and run this Nightmare Isaac run. So I tapped out of that one. How did you do?
I made it to the 2nd room.
Oh no, that was the one where you were fighting Mega, the green one.
Yes.
Yeah, I bet he bombed you and immediately dead.
That's exactly what happened. I walked in, I saw him, he fired to the left, I went up and left, I walked straight into it, and I was officially done.
Yeah. It's one of those ones where it's like, if I had remembered about it, I would have said don't go left. But all I wanted to do was to stop that run from happening. I got to Mom in 30 minutes, and I said, God, I have to make it all the way to Mega Satan. Like, I can't do Boss Rush. I missed that by 10 minutes. I'm not going to be able to do a Hush, because I'm going to miss that by another 10 minutes. I gotta go. I can't do this. I can't believe I took this week. That's insanity. That shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have. I should have. There was a couple of runs, especially when it was 3-0 to me, and I'm sitting there thinking just one more. It was 3-1, I think, and I was thinking just one more. I've just got to beat him on one of the last 3 days of the week, and I can take it. I can take my first week away from him, and then it's literally. I got greedy. I got stupid. Running too fast, moving too quick. Which, despite what we've talked about, yes, you can move too quick occasionally.
Oh man, there was one run this week. I don't remember. I think it was maybe Friday or Saturday, where I was moving too fast. I had picked up 3 speed up pills, and I had grabbed some other item and then caffeine pill, and I was like a rocket. And the item that I didn't think I needed showed up, and it was Libra. And I was like, get over here, you beautiful Libra. This is the one time I need you. Slow me down and boost everything else. And it actually worked out pretty well until I picked up Eve's Mascara like a dummy.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. I haven't unlocked that one as of yet. So, really?
Hi, Cat.
Directly under the microphone every single time.
Yeah. But yeah, this was one of those weeks where we just had a bunch of really hard runs. Monday's run, I wrote down Isaac, mom-related holiday, no item rooms, tough, I died.
Yeah, I was curious about that one because I did notice there was no item rooms in there, and I was thinking, what's going on? It didn't actually click in my brain that it might be a Mother's Day related thing.
Yeah, every once in a while there's a special run where, International Battery Day is one of the holidays in the game, where it just starts you off with all the battery items and it doesn't give you item rooms. And it's like, well, okay, but I need something to help me out here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm drinking a little coffee here. Well, Moon
That's okay, I've got a cat flipping
wrestling
out.
A cat. But yeah, other than that, I don't think this was a super exciting week. But we do have 2 questions from a skewed one from our Discord server. One is, what was the most odd item synergy you've ever come across? I.e., picking up anti-gravity and brimstone produces a swirling orb, then fires the beam a couple seconds later. He says, parenthetically, one of the worst decisions I've made, all said and done. That's actually one of my more favorite synergies, because you fire it and just this swirling mass hangs out for a second, then shoots a brimstone laser across the screen. It's hugely powerful, but it is almost impossible to control and use at any point.
I mean, the unusual ones for me are the ones we've talked about, like my Red Ring of Death. For all Xbox 360 owners out there. That was the thing which made me realize how much of a game changer the items in this game can be.
Yeah.
Because up until that point, I wasn't 100% sold yet on how effective the items could be. But then when that happens, especially for me, it happened the first time I ever played Greed Mode as Azazel.
Yeah.
So, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, okay, yes, the items really do make huge differences to how the people can play. But, I mean, I don't think I've unlocked enough stuff yet to really get, pardon the turn of phrase here, to really get down and dirty with the oddball combinations.
Right.
I think I'm still like 300 items away from unlocking everything, maybe.
Yeah.
I need to check on that. So,
well, you haven't done all the challenges yet, so there's a bunch of items locked behind there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I did try Solar System again this week. I hate Solar System too.
Oh yeah. Which one's that?
It's blindfolded, 3 flies circling around you, no tears.
Oh yeah, that one goes to Mom's Heart. Yeah, that one... Yeah, and you have Transcendence. Yeah, Man, that one... When you find a winning run, that one is kind of fun, but every other run is just sort of like, I hate this game. I hate everybody who made it. These are all the worst items. Oh,
yeah.
Man. Yeah, and you have no item rooms on that one either. Yikes.
I need a BFF, like, desperately.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, BFF is... thankfully, you do have shops, so you can get BFF and you can get Hive Mind, which can help a ton. Yeah, that's just a tough one, though.
Yeah, but I mean, that's where I see the oddball, like, combinations is stuff like that. It's like the daily run when it's like, I don't know what half of these items are. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. Oops, I accidentally stepped on a D6 and I don't know what's going on.
Right. Well, and I feel like that. I feel like everybody has their first overpowered synergy, and I think for a lot of people that's when Binding of Isaac really clicks, where it's like, okay, I picked up this item and I unlocked this other item, and that both of these are pretty good, but somehow they synergize in a really great way, and you're like, oh, gotcha. Okay, now I'm sure. It's like picking up Epic Fetus and which I don't think you have unlocked, and glitter bombs. So you're just raining bombs from the sky that all drop items. And it's like,
is it Epic or Mister?
There's two of them.
Okay.
The Epic one has a little top hat. These high quality Super Meat Boy references.
Yes. I did actually turn into him at some point.
You can pick up SMB Superfan. That turns you red.
I think that's one of the things I got during one of the dailies.
Oh yeah. Did you have you made a full Meat Boy or Bandage Girl yet?
I haven't made a full Bandage Girl. I'm pretty sure I've made a full Meat Boy because he literally stopped circling me and then ran off and started running around the room shooting at people. Okay.
Yeah, there's an achievement for making both of those. Like an in-game achievement for doing that.
Yeah.
So if you want to
I don't think I've done Bandage yet.
Okay, that one's the harder one because I feel like Ball of Bandages is less common than Cube of Meat is.
Yeah, it feels like it's rarer.
Yeah. All right, well, that's our adventures in the basement this week. Sort of a bit of a downer week on the daily run, but on the positive side, checking off a lot of stuff on your Post-it notes. So now you just have the unwaking nightmare that is a lot of those challenges.
It's a lot of them, and it's also a lot of, like, I haven't even done normal mode with Lilith yet.
Oh, yeah. Boss Rush is super easy with Lilith, at least.
Just put an army of people across the top of the screen and fire down.
Yeah, just sort of hang out. Yeah. All right, well, that's our episode for this week. We will see all of you back next week for more, hopefully positive daily runs this week. Fingers crossed. But, until then, our adventure continues, delving deeper into the basement.
I'm in the basement! Help me!
Let's wait for that. All right, thank you very much, everyone, for watching the video here. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.